Hello you what's his faces, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the best settings in Season 7. And no, I'm not talking about the best sensitivity, just the best settings. And the reason why is because these videos are so big that I want each of them to have a dedicated part. I've done this twice and each time it ended up being a 20-minute video and some people only needed some information. It one, killed my watch time, and two, it made it really hard for other people to find what they're looking for. So first off, we're doing settings. Essentially everything you need to know about all these new options in the Call of Duty Mobile settings. So first off, we have controls, and as you guys will see, there's a simple mode and advanced mode. It's Season 7, everyone already knows advanced mode is the way to go, no need for simple. Now in the advanced mode, you're using the ADS button, which is the button with the bullet in the scope, which I will show you, and it instantly scopes in ADSs. However, you can customize this in this little menu. As you can see, this little menu, I just click the settings button, and for SMGs, if I wanted to make it ADS, so essentially when I hit the scope plus shoot button, it will automatically ADS, and ADS means aim down sight. I would choose that. But if I wanted to hip fire, just spray without me scoping in, I would hit that using the ADS button. And by the way, the ADS button, the game classifies as the right fire button. But regardless, let's get into it. So when we go over to this customized layout, I want to show you this is how it looks. That's how the ADS button looks, so a bullet with a scope. Now we're gonna hit cancel, and now we're gonna go to basic. Now here we go. First off, aim assist. What do you want to do for aim assist? I want to keep it on. I've tried it without it. It's pretty much the same. Maybe if you're really struggling with aiming, you need to learn the basics of aim, then I would say turn off aim assist. But other than that, I like to keep it on. Too many iffy things that I just don't want messing with my game, so I keep it on. Next, we have quick run from prone, and when you're prone, that just means you quick run. I have that on because I do love to use the prone button, and so I don't want to have to manually get up. I just feel like I find this better, especially if someone's throwing a nade at you. That millisecond is what you need. Next, right fire button, fixed right fire button to be exact, and the fixed right fire button essentially means that the right fire button, which is the ADS button, please keep in mind right fire button is ADS button because it's the first one you get and it's on the right. This stays fixed, so it does not move, and I'm gonna show you guys how this looks. So as you guys will see, this does not move. Even if I have it on a AR, this does not move. It would sometimes move if you have a certain setting selected, but with this, it does not move. It stays absolutely still. And I actually probably would use that over the other buttons sometimes for sniping, but now that I play 10 Finger Claw, I like to use it. I like it to move so I can control recoil. So fixed right fire button essentially makes the ADS button not move at all. Now we have fixed virtual joystick display position. Now what this does, as you guys might already have figured, it means the virtual joystick, which is this, is fixed and its display position is fixed. However, that doesn't mean basically it doesn't mean you're going to be you can't move it. Let me actually go to another setting because it's based upon another setting. So fixed virtual joystick display position, right? Let's turn that off again. So basically this just means the display position is fixed, and with it being fixed, as you guys see, when I move this, I'm not necessarily on the joystick, but I still can control it, and that essentially means that the joystick is fixed, but it's still able to move, so you can control it without actually having to be on it, which I think is the best setting for it. Next, we have release right fire button of shotgun to hip fire. No, probably not the best idea. You're better off just learning how to hip fire with the shotgun. Even if you play two finger, you're better off just learning that way. It's gonna take a little bit of time to do that. When you use the shotgun, it's just not worth it. Now, fast throw grenade, you always want this off. You want this off because you want to be able to control your grenades and anything you throw, like your grenades, your trip mines, your tomahawks. You want to actually be able to hold it and then control it so you can charge your grenade. So many other applications, keep that off. Now, joystick auto run sprint, essentially it's just like a little run man, and one, I don't even use it, and two, you shouldn't be using this because you want to have your finger always on the joystick, and you want your finger always on the joystick so you can have better movement and mobility. So this doesn't even need to be a thing for you to keep in mind. However, some people might like it. I'm saying don't use it. Now, fixed joystick, it essentially makes the joystick fixed, as the name implies, and this means totally fixed. So if we were to go in, it's totally fixed. I cannot move it from anywhere else. I have to move it from here. This is the only place I can affect my joystick from. So that is why it's considered that. Now, if you liked having this is fine. However, I find that sometimes you just might miss it and then you'll flick up and it'll mess up your aim so bad that it's not worth it. So I feel like the other option where you just have that off and you're still able to affect the joystick is the better one. So yeah, well, we first want to choose fixed virtual display position, and then yeah, we can do that. So this is the best way to use your joystick because one, even if your hand slips off a little bit, you can still control it. Next, we have right fire button for fixed perspective. So if your perspective is fixed, essentially the right fire button, which is the ADS button, it's just for that. But since I already have fixed right fire button, I would have to turn on fixed right fire button, and then I would have to turn on that because these work in conjunction. So if I were to have this real quick, and I would go to here, turn that back on. Now it's pretty much just right button for fixed perspective because the perspective is fixed and we can't move it from this side. As you guys can see, we can't move it from this side. We can only move it from the right side. So on this side, it's fixed. Now, hide prone button, hold crouch to prone. Essentially, this is just a prone button, and as you guys will see, let's make this invisible. This is a prone button, and I love using it. And to be honest, I would say you should probably use this button. And the reason why I say this is because for sniping, it's really good. Now, it kind of makes drop shotting a bit different than it usually is, but it's really worth it, I think so. And I like how I'm messing up a drop shot, but yeah, that's essentially it. So next, I think I have to fix my settings to do my drop shot or whatever after I do this video, but essentially, yeah, that's essentially what the crouch button is. It just instantly makes you crouch, which I think is pretty cool. You don't have to hold anything, and it's just, in my opinion, it's better for sniping. However, it is a little bit different. You're gonna have to use another button. You're gonna have to get used to it, but I do think it's better for sniping. Next, we have the ADS choices. So double tap the ADS, you double tap, it scopes in. ADS means aim down sight. Please remember that. Next, we have hybrid ADS. That is actually something pretty darn cool. It allows you to essentially use both the scope and the scope plus shoot at the same time. This is hybrid ADS. So this is scope plus shoot, or the right fire button. Not scope plus shoot. This is ADS, the ADS button, right? And essentially you scope in. Now this is pretty cool. It allows you to use the regular scope along with the ADS button, which is the button with the bullet and a line through it, although it doesn't have a bullet and a line through it right here because of certain settings, and it allows you to essentially just do that, right, as you guys can see. Now that is good because let's say you want to use that button for other things, you can use the ADS button and just be able to have more control, because yes, well, the button right here is the left fire button, and when you use it, it kind of moves, but if you have this, it does not move. And it took me a while to figure that out, but yeah, this does not move. You have to use the right fire button if you want a button that doesn't move. Funnily enough, I actually wanted this before, but now I don't want it because I play 8-finger and I want to be able to control recoil easier by just pulling down. But essentially, that is what you want if you don't want anything to move, if you want it static. Next, we have tap to ADS, and as the name implies, you just tap and then it will automatically scope in and it will be held there. So to un-ADS, you will have to go ahead and untap it. Just like PUBG or Critical Ops, it just stays in. Now, this is good for many people, even if especially if you play 2-finger. However, I don't like it because I have to do like a double tap, and when I'm sniping and I want to like jiggle scope or something like that, and I just don't really like it. It's another step and it's more stress on my fingers, so I don't like it. Now, I choose tap and hold to ADS. However, please keep in mind this has some kinks and some bugs. It doesn't always work as properly. I hope the devs end up fixing it, but in the meanwhile, you just got to deal with it and realize when it's going to do it or how to counter it once it does it. Next, we have slide while running. Since I use the prone button, I always have tap crouch while sprinting, and essentially that allows me to run, right, and then slide. Running and holding slide is not going to be your best bet. It's going to actually be a detriment to you. You might as well just go ahead and get the drop shot button. There's no reason why you should have run to hold slide, because you're not going to be able to time it well. If someone's jumping at you, you need to slide out the way, you're going to have to hold it. So in that 1 second, you're essentially dead. If someone throws a nade, you're going to have to hold it. You're going to be dead. Do not turn that on. If you don't like it, just adapt without it. Kind of like with aim assist almost. If you don't like it, adapt without it. Now, always sprint, I have this on around 74. I don't really put it much higher or lower. 74 to around 69. That's what I keep it on. Gyroscope. Oh man, this is sad, but yeah, I don't use gyroscope anymore. But essentially, depending on how you tilt your device, it can control your recoil pretty easily. Now, camera FOV, I always have that max. I don't need anything else. Yeah, I love having that max. Now for audios and graphics, I have my graphic quality high on everything. I don't know why I don't have depth of field on, but yeah, I want that on. And anti-aliasing, yeah, let's get that on too. But even if you don't have the highest that strong of a device, I would recommend having a real-time shadows on. It allows me and allows people, you can just see people if they jump over you, if they're above you. It's really good. Now BR graphic style mode, I love dynamic. It makes it, you know, more colorful, so it's easier to see people. Colors just pop. Now adjust screen, no, I don't need auto adjust, I have everything. Now sensitivity, this is a whole thing within itself, so we're gonna leave this by itself. We don't need to mess with this, but essentially, if you want to find your sensitivity, just pick one of these presets and mess with it. I'm gonna have a video for that coming right after this. Now BR settings, I really like this car setting. I don't know, it's just simpler for me, it's easier. Now you can use that, but that's just more complicated. I don't like it. Now quick message, you can customize these to fit your needs, so whichever one you use the most, you would most likely like to use. And it's really good for battle royale, domination, search and destroy, so you can go ahead and change these for what you need. And these are really good because when it translates to any language, of course, when you're playing in-game, and if you know how to use them, you can actually help your teammates if you're playing solos and you're just ranking up by yourself. Now controller, I mean, if you use a controller, you can just yeah, it's just telling you everything you need for a controller. I think you might be able to change the settings with it, yeah, but yeah, that's basically a controller. Now of course that's language, which I have on English, and legal and privacy. But that is everything you need to know about settings, and as you guys can see, that is a 12-minute video within itself, which is crazy. So hope you guys enjoyed. Next I'm going to be doing the sensitivity video, actually how to find your own sensitivity in Call of Duty Mobile, and I'll catch you guys later. If you like this video, leave a like on it, and you want to see more of my content, subscribe. Tigon out.